having your birthday overseas, being in the heat, 130 degrees. Like people look at me today, like at work, and I'm move this box, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, hold on, why ain't he upset, crying? You know, like I keep the stoicism face. You know, I'm just
right.
You know how I am. I'm like,
no, for real. Like when we was deployed, sometimes I'll look at you like I'll look at him and be like, is he happy? Is he mad? I don't know what's going on. And then I hear you talking. I'm like, oh, he in a good mood today. He good. You know what I'm saying? Whereas it's like you always just kept like that straight face no matter what was going on. Like even when you got like crap thrown at you from a leader standpoint coming down from the chain of command, like you would take it, and some of us wouldn't even be like, was like, is he mad about what's happening or what? So you just told us what we had to do. We tried to get it done to the best of our abilities, but you always just kept like a straight face about everything. So
well, and the thing is my thought process with that was always they go low, we go high.
Right. Okay.
So even if I felt like a commander or somebody, or that's not like specific to any particular commander because we worked with a bunch of them, right? Yeah. Like even if I felt somebody was being a little bit petty, like I had to detach from it and be like, you know what? Me having a bad attitude and not owning this situation is not going to make it better. Because by the time it gets to Laster, you know what I'm saying, and his fiance, oh Lord, like this is just.
We had that. I know. As soon as I say this, you already gonna know. At the beginning of deployment, the first month and a half. That's you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Nah, we ain't even gonna go there. Remember, they go low, we go high.
All right, I'm gonna go high then right now.
Because even after that changed, and this is between me and you, and I guess listeners, whatever. Even after that had changed, I was still hearing stuff about me while we were on another base.
Really?
Like literally, like the commander would come out there and be like, "Oh, they said this, and that," you know what I'm saying, about you and how you was doing, and you know how Cap rock, you know what I'm saying? Like I literally lights out. I'm in, you know what I'm saying, in my barracks. You know what I'm saying? Working on the next day, you know what I'm saying? Coming out in the boonie cap the next day, make sure we, doing on our P's and Q's. And I would fight for any one of y'all. Like even that person at that time that was giving me so much slack, I would go above and beyond because I know that that's how life works.
Right.
When you treat people right, even when they treat you wrong, like you're gonna be all right. So anyway, we kind of getting deep in the weeds and chopping up about the deployment. Man, that was rough. That was a long time. So
that was a big chunk of our life right there. That was a whole year taken away.
You know what I'm saying? So the tie-in. So how did you get started on TikTok? When did you get started on TikTok? And like, what inspired you to start posting?
All right. So basically, it was on the deployment. Like before the deployment, or even at the beginning of our deployment, I looked at TikTok like a children's app. Like I was like, oh, this is for kids, people on there just doing all these corny dances and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not rocking with that. And then one day it's like, as soon as you start watching videos that kind of pertain to like your interests, it's like they start showing more of those videos to you. So it's like at first when I got on the app, it was like showing all the kiddie stuff, the dances and the jokes and comedic side of TikTok. But as soon as I liked one video that interested me, they started showing me more of those, and that just got my attention. So I'm like, oh snap! And me, I like to eat, so that's not even what started me off on TikTok. One day, we were running the mission where we were in we're in Camp Buren, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're in Camp Buren, and I think we had an off day because the mission got canceled or something like that. So I went for a run. I threw my vest on, and I'm just running. I think I ran like 3 miles or whatever, and I'm dying at this point. And then I the vest at the time that we had a quick release, so I was like, oh, let me record this real quick. I'm just gonna record it, for personal use and show some friends how cool it is or whatever. So I was just like, whenever you like get in a sticky situation or something like this, and you got one of these vests on, you can just pop it off, and it just all fell off. So I was like, I just had the recording. I showed a couple friends. And then my battle buddy LaRocco and ACAP, they both were like, bro, you should post that on TikTok.
Shout out to Cap and LaRocco.
That was like, they were like, bro, that'd go crazy on TikTok. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, just post it. So I just posted it, and I woke up the next morning, and then LaRocco comes up to me, hits me. He was like, bro, your video. I'm like, what? He was like, bro, it's going nuts right now. I'm thinking, it's gonna have like 1,000 views or something like that. It was at like 1.5 million views, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? So after that, after you get one video on there blowing up, you kind of want to chase that clout. You know what I'm saying? Kind of make a name for yourself. So I just like started doing a whole series, and like people were asking me like how the vest works and stuff like that. So I did that, and then one day, I got an MRE, and I was just like, let me show them what an MRE is. And then that blew up. That got like 16 million views or something like that. And that's what really took my account up to that next level.
Hold on, let me go grab some MREs real quick. Like this how you put the cheese on the cracker.
No, for real. And my signature thing was like, I hate the cheese spread that comes in the MREs. So every time I got it in the MREs, I would punch it. And like it'll just fly out of the camera, and people would eat that up. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's lit.
Like to a civilian coming from like a military standpoint, they don't know what MREs are unless they've been in like a catastrophic event where the military had to get involved or FEMA had to get involved. They issue them out to people for food, like Hurricane Katrina and stuff like that. But I mean, like, they don't know what that is. So seeing stuff like that from a military standpoint is interesting to them. So they just ate it up. So I just kept the ball rolling, So eventually, I just got up there in the followers. I had like 100K, 200K, 300K. And then like now I'm sitting at like 825K. I'm almost at 1 million. That's the next goal,
Okay.
So I mean, that was just, I honestly, like, I just did it to keep my mind occupied, because it made time just go by a lot faster on a deployment. Because like while we were deployed during the pandemic. COVID was real. It was real for us because we had absolutely nothing to do out there.
Man.
So just to keep your mind busy, that was my thing. And cutting hair on the side. Like, those was my two things that just kept me busy out there and made a little money on the side. So
that's real. And you know what? Hey, listeners, shout out to Laster, because he held me down while we was over there. Like, now I got a lot of clippers. Like, I keep, a line on point. You see that? Yeah,
for real.
I done got better at fading, So
I would get a text like the day before a mission, and Cap hit me up. He'll be like Laster, get to my room now. I'm like, all right. I come over there. He was like, "You line my back up," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." I'm thinking, I'm in trouble, or are you not going on a mission tomorrow, or something like that. But I was just like, he was like, "Can you hit my back up?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." And then we chop it up. I'm trying to give him some tips and stuff like that. And then eventually he got his own arsenal going. And I walk in the room. I walk in the room one day. He got the mirror. He back there doing his own thing.
That's live.com. That's actually awesome. Like, you just never know like how you affect change in the world. Because like I still even got the USB boys that you know what I'm saying, put me on. I still got them, you know what I'm saying? And like I cut my nephew the other day, and like I was like, man, I should have brought them little USB joints. You know what I'm saying? Because he got sensitive hair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but that's huge, because so like didn't the other day, didn't you mention something about wanting to start your own shop?
Oh yeah, actually I was
Have you talked to Swag?
I did. I've been doing Swag since I've been in the military. Like, okay. He was one of the first people I actually got super cool with. When like first coming in, he was at the 444, and that was my first initial unit. And when I met him, I was interested in cutting hair at the time, so I always just chop it up with him. So I've always already mentioned like opening up a shop like that. But as soon as I get my my coins right, I'm gonna look into it a lot more, and I'm definitely gonna hit him up, because I'll definitely need a partner or two to help me out with that stuff.
That's real. Hey, you might want to, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be out. You might want to holler at your boy too. You know what I'm saying? I might, it's like, I got this next deployment coming up, so I'm like figuring out. Like I actually literally like, I think it's awesome that you guys have a vocation like being a barber. That is a vocation.
Yeah, no, for real.
And like, I want to stack my bread, save my bread, and actually go to barber school and go to car detailing school. Right. So while I'm not, guess what people like to do? They like to drive nice in their whip, and they like to be fresh when they pull up the honeys. They lower down that window that's tinted, stick their head out like, "Hey, sweetheart," you know what I'm saying? And so
I used to detail too, like straight out of when that was my job in college. I had two jobs when I was in college. I worked at a restaurant, And then before that, I worked at a dealership. I worked at a Ford dealership as a detailer, and I was strictly in charge of all the sports cars. You know, I had like any sports cars that